welcome to 2020. Well, albeit 6 days into it, 7 days into it, whatever it is, 7 days into it. So, this time last year, I was sat in Duckham when I did my sort of end of year, beginning of 2019 video. I was wondering which direction to go in at the time. And I think I sort of talked about maritime photography and landscape photography and travel photography. And it's been quite interesting looking back to see where that has actually gone to. So I don't think it's gone anywhere. I think I'm still sort of at split ends sort of with which type of photography I'm doing most of, as my photos will show shortly. I wanted to go down the landscape route. That's what I really wanted to do, but it's between work and the location we live in and time, it doesn't seem to happen a great deal, to be honest. As I suspected last year, most of my photography is done when I'm traveling with work. So there's a lot of travel photography. It seems to be quite a bit of urban sort of landscape type stuff in there. The occasional street bit of photography, that sort of thing. I would love to push more and more the maritime side, but as I've said before, client confidentiality and the likes, it makes life very difficult for me to do that. I do get the occasional maritime shot in, but I've got the best shots are the ones where I would breach client confidentiality, so it's been very difficult for me to do, you know. And as for the landscape, most of that seems to happen when I'm on leave in the summer and back in the UK. So we're still torn. Jury's still out on which one I'm doing most of, to be fair. Anyway, so let's look at my 12 favourite shots from 2019. They're not necessarily my best shots, but I personally like them because they remind me of when I took them and then a story behind them. So we'll start with this shot now. This is Yas Marina Circuit, where I'm a recovery marshal. So I do a lot of track events there, and I see all the media wandering around doing their thing, taking photos, and I would really, really love to be doing that as well. Unfortunately, I also love doing the recovery side of things. And part of that is we're not actually allowed to take photographs of the vehicles, in effect. But as this one shows, there's nothing stopping me taking photos of the circuit itself. This one was the end of the day. It had been a very long day, and the lights had just come on, and the mist was starting to come down, and it really lent itself to this black and white shot. I was in a location called the bottom of the corkscrew, which is on the main straight. And it was my iPhone. I took it with my iPhone because I don't bother taking a camera. The only time I ever take a camera is to take the team photo for the F1. So this was an iPhone shot, believe it or not. And it came out a lot better than I thought it would. And okay, I put it through Lightroom as well, admittedly, but you know, it's just an eerie shot, shows the size and depth of the circuit. You know, I just something about it I just love. You know, so that was that. Anyway, luckily then, as it turns out, I managed to go home in February last year. I was attending a conference in London, and of course there was a lot of snow in the UK in February, and I managed to get home to South Wales. So, not wanting to miss the opportunity, I went out walking as well. I think I actually vlogged this next shot. This is a place called, let me put the shot up. This is a place called Gilbourne Hill, and the shot is actually looking over towards Abergavenny and the Blorenge. I love this huge rock in the foreground, and it sort of led you into the shot. Again, it's just something about the shot. Big skies, I love big skies. The only thing that lets this photo down is somebody's footprints around the rock, and the reason for that is behind me, behind the shot is actually a gate. So it's, you know, most people walk around the rock obviously rather than climbing over the gate. So, but anyway, I personally think that there's a lot to the shot. It leads you in, gets you guessing what's down in the valley, etc. So anyway, meanwhile, back in the Middle East, I'm back to work. Now this is where I seem to think that a lot of my shots these days are while I'm traveling with work. This next shot, this was taken in Doha, in Qatar. I was out walking on the Corniche looking for something to shoot, and I was quite disappointed. Typical selfish me, there was too many people around, basically. So where I was looking for sunset shots, everywhere I wanted a composition, there was too many people. So anyway, I was still walking back to my hotel, sort of disappointed. and I came across these really shallow fountains, and it was perfect. It lent itself fantastically to a shot I was looking for. So I wasn't actually on the corniche. I was set back off the corniche, virtually on the road, in fact. And this little area is absolutely fantastic. The sky was a bit too blown out, if I'm honest, and I had to tone it down quite a bit in Lightroom. I also, if you watch the vlog that goes with this one, it was quite funny because I actually forgot to take the holder for my filters. So I'm holding my filters in front of the camera lens by hand. Yeah, far from normal, but there you go. Anyway, another one that I like, not necessarily my best one. So as we move through the year then, as anyone that knows me or follows me will know, we do a lot of sort of not only on the track recovery duties, but also out in the desert with Street Team. And this next shot is, this was day 2 of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge this year. Now the rider in the picture, even though it's very small in the centre of the picture, is a guy called Sam Sunderland. He's a Dakar champion, he's won the Desert Challenge numerous times. You know, we all love him, he's great. But what I was trying to show here was the vastness of the desert. You know, there's no tracks in front of Sam there. He'd just come through a PC, I think it was PC2. And he was taken off then off towards PC3, which is a long way after that PC, and a massive amount of desert to go through, you know. And this photo just shows the vastness and the challenge he's taken on. You know, there's no tyre tracks in front of him. He's the first bike through at the end of the day. He's laying the ground, and it's just when I think back of the shot, you know, and the vastness, it's huge. It's the Leeward Desert, if you haven't been there, is a massive in itself. It's absolutely huge. And again, this shot there are a couple of other shots so as he came into this PC where he came over some huge dunes as well, and it's just, believe it or not, that lens, that was taken with a 400mm lens, so it goes to show the vastness of the desert when you think that's a 400mm lens. So there we go. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So as we got sort of through the year, now the sun moves quite substantially throughout the year in Abu Dhabi, and at the moment, it's, well, at the sort of March, April, May time, it's over Yas Island, it's setting over Yas Island, and then as you come through the year, it comes more back in towards the south a bit. This next shot, I had a funny 5 minutes. I decided to try my hand with split toning in Lightroom, and then I've got this, for some reason I had it in my head for pinks and orange, purples and the likes whenever I did the sunset. So this next shot, this iron bridge was built years ago when they started building Yas Island, and it's been there ever since. Albeit it's getting a little bit dilapidated, though I don't think you'd want to take a truck across it anymore. So this is what everyone knows as the Iron Bridge in Abu Dhabi, and it basically, we were looking for sunset, but the composition, apart from the bridge, the composition is quite boring. There's nothing on the horizon, and of course time of year at the time we had a lot of humidity, but just as the last minute it sort of dropped down, there was a little bit of cloud in there which gave us some nice light, and it's not too bad a shot. I like the fact that I was also after blur in the water, which I achieved, even though the water doesn't move a great deal there. It's very, very slow moving, so this was quite a long exposure to achieve this. So, you know, we did, I think we vlogged it. I think Elliot was with me as well, and we vlogged that one as well, because Elliot was after doing it. So, but anyway, because I wasn't happy with that shot, I then went back again to do another sunset, and then this next shot is exactly the same bridge, but from the opposite side of the bridge, before the sunset. So, we caught the sun through the bridge. Again, Elliot was with me again, I think. And we caught the sun through the bridge. So you can see under the bridge there, you know, what I was shooting with the previous shot. And now, I'm not quite sure which one I prefer, the first shot or this shot, to be honest. But, you know, I like them both. So, then the next lot is, okay, it saw us in the UK then for summer. Now, this seems to be when I do most of my landscape photography for some strange reason. I think it's because it's South Wales, it's the Brecon Beacons. And so anyway, we always stay at a place called Glebe Farm, and the surrounding countryside, it's sort of bordering between Gwent and Monmouthshire. The surrounding countryside is absolutely fantastic, and when the weather's good, the sunrises and sunsets are out of this world. They really are out of this world. So this one here was, there's quite a steep drive down into the farm, and this shot here now, this was a sunset which is up over Mynydd Main above Cwmbran. And because this year we also had rain for a change, I know, the previous year we had no rain for the whole summer we were home, but this time home we had rain. So there was lots of clouds around as well, which was great for the sunsets, and this one night was just There is very little touch-up on this photo. The sky was just, it was like on fire, it really was, and I couldn't resist. I'm not quite sure about the big black cloud across the middle. Maybe a little bit of cropping would have helped there, but the sky itself was fantastic, it really was. So that's another one. While we were in the UK as well then, for my birthday, it was my 50th birthday, and Elliot and myself were going to go and walk up Pen y Fan and do some shots up there. Unfortunately, when we got there, the weather was appalling. It really was. So, not to be outdone though, we went and did the Four Falls Trail instead. Now, I've seen this shot done by so many people. It's unreal. Everyone does it. Everyone walks the Four Falls. Everyone does these shots. And out of the ones I took this day, I think I prefer this one the best. Elliot also did the same shot, and he did a bit of sort of poetic license with the colours. He's got it actually on his bedroom wall, thinking about it. This is the main waterfall there. There wasn't a massive amount of water in them because the summer was fairly dry, even though we had rain. But it was enough, you know. And it was raining. It was pouring with rain. Again, I think we vlogged this as well, but it's a nice shot. I like the shot, you know, it came out really good. Moving on, because I was trying to get a pile of vlogs in as well at the same time in the UK. Now, this next shot is above a place called Blenavon, or in a place called Blenavon, I should say. I've got a lot of fondness for Blenavon. I walk up there a lot. My father's side of the family are from there originally. And this is a place called Coity Pond, or also known as Mile End Pond. And the reason is Mile End Pond, apparently I've found out since, which I only found out this summer, the walk around the edge of the pond is a mile long, and that's why it's called a mile pond. I know it as Coity Pond. It's just up above Big Pit. It was man-made. It was built during the sort of iron and coal industry times, and we went up there, me and Elliot. Again, we vlogged this, and I was just looking for typical engineer. Like I was looking for the vanishing points on the lines with my composition. So I tried to get in everything central, and the little green plant in the centre at the bottom of the shot was what I was trying to focus on and highlight, but also then disappearing down the pond and into the distance. It was very difficult to use filters, obviously, because the mountain dropping down from the left and then a flat horizon. So it was as much as possible done through the camera on this one. That's what it came down to at the end of the day. So, but then as the leave finished, we got into the first week of August before we were due back, and every single day I've been trying to get a sunrise every day, because the view from the cottage, the sunrise is absolutely stunning. But most days didn't have clouds first thing in the morning, and this one was within about 2 days of us leaving. I got up at 4 o'clock and I waited, and I think I shot about 400 images that morning. I was bracketing admittedly, but I shot about 400 images. And within the last dozen images, these are the last 15, 20 images. This is the shot I came up with, the sunrise, and I was really, really pleased with this. It's a pretty impressive shot in itself, like, you know. So I think this one might actually find its way to the wall somewhere in the villa shortly. So, but that was the summer. That was the summer over. Now coming back out to Abu Dhabi then. And we finished the year off. Well, I say I finished the year off. I've got 2 more images to show you, right? I've been messing around a little bit with star photography this year. I wanted to see if we could do some of that. So this is a place called Al Dafra Sand Sculptures. And me and the kids went out there one evening. We shot sunset, and then we did some star stuff. These sandstone type sand sculptures have been there for thousands of years. It was all underwater at one time. And this night lent itself perfectly. It was crystal clear, no haze, no humidity, even though we were in sort of August. And we got some nice star shots. I've got some with my truck as well. Obviously got the obligatory shots with my truck in them, but they're for another time. So this was quite a nice shot. It came out it came out better than I thought. I love it out there that you can always go out there, photograph these sand sculptures and get different images all the time. So, and then one of my travel trips then saw me in Singapore in October. And believe it or not, this is the last shot of the year, and it was also my last vlog, and I can't believe it was in October. So Marina Bay in Singapore is extremely touristy. You need to check the vlog on this one where I moan about tourists. I know I shouldn't, but I do. This was Marina Bay, not actually looking at the hotel. I've done the hotel in the past. In fact, I think the hotel was in my last year's video, as I recall. So I wanted something different. I wanted the sunset, and the sunset in sort of just on the right edge of this photo. The clouds were great. I came down to 2 images, this one and another one, but this one looks a lot better. The clouds were to my satisfaction on the other one. And there's just something about this says Singapore to me all the time. It really does. So there we go. So there's my 12 images for this year. Again, going back to last year, and what am I doing most? Well, there's no maritime photography in any of those for a start. Is that because of the client confidentiality angle? Maybe it is. I do take a lot of maritime photos, but I can't share them. That's the problem. They're for my own use, you know. Landscape seems to be more when I'm in the UK than anything else. And then the travel photography is all year round, because that's what I do for a living at the end of the day, you know, I travel. So I'm still undecided of which type of photography I should be looking at mostly. I do love landscape, but I think travel and urban landscape is featuring a lot more in my photography these days as well, because I always carry the Fuji everywhere I go. So it's not that I don't have my cameras with me. So one thing I've noticed though, and I don't know if you've just noticed, and I think it's because of YouTube, I've not conscientiously done it, but virtually all of my shots, not all of them, I shouldn't say all of them, majority of my shots now seem to be in a 9x16 format, because obviously 9x16 suits YouTube, so it suits the vlogs. But I seem to I actually like the sort of the aspect ratio as well of the 9x16. Trying to get picture frames is a complete nightmare, mind, but if you just want to keep them electronically, it's a great format. I really like the shape and the aspect of it, and all of those shots I've just shown you are all 9x16. I think I'm sort of tending to consider that when I'm taking shots now, that the crop will end up as 9x16. I still do occasionally the squares and the landscape, panoramics, the portraits, the whole lot. But for some reason, most of my shots now are being 9x16, and I think it's, without thinking about it, it's because it's to suit sort of YouTube, you know. So there we are. So where do we go next? You know, let's talk about social media. You know, last year I said I was happy with my Instagram. It had driven itself to sort of 1,200 followers. I think it's sort of up and down a little bit. I think it's 1,100 and something at the moment. You know, but at the end of the day, I certainly don't stress over that. I don't worry about it. You know, I do this for my own pleasure. If I put it on Instagram, it's because I want it on Instagram. If people want to follow me or like it, great. It's fantastic. I was determined last year to try and improve my YouTube channel and get things better on there, in particular the quality of my vlogs, because they were extremely amateurish last year. I'm not saying they're professional now, but I think they have improved. I've got a much better setup that I'm using. It's a simple setup. I like to keep things simple, you know. Last year I was editing everything still in Movie Maker, the standard one that comes with a MacBook. I've now downloaded and paid for whatever it is. I think it's called Nomad, which is on my iPad Pro, which makes life much easier, because I can, you know, when I'm on flights, I can edit vlogs and get things. I don't have to go back to a computer to do it, is what I'm saying. I can do it when I'm traveling, which is much easier. As for the filming setup, I've got the DJi OSMO Pocket, and I've still got the Rode Video Micro Pro connected to it for sound. It does what I want. I don't need any more than that, you know. I don't need to be using an SLR, a digital SLR, for doing vlogs. I certainly don't want to be carrying more weight. I have started using my drone. I used it in a couple of vlogs while I was in the UK in the summer, and I want to improve that as well. So YouTube, let's talk YouTube. Last year I think I was in the sort of 60-62 mark of followers, or subscribers on YouTube, isn't it? Subscribers. And I wanted to try and improve this. So I've learned a lot about YouTube over the year. Again, now, to the big YouTube channels, this is nothing. But I've tripled my following, okay? I've only got 181 followers as of this morning, but it's a triple. You know, I've tripled my following in a year. So I think tripling my following in a year is pretty good. What I would like to know, though, is when I go through them, I'm still not sure which sort of parts of my YouTube channel are they following. Is it the marine stuff I've put online? Is it my photography? Virtually everything now is photography, so I'm assuming they're following me for the photography side of things. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, for people to let me know what it is they're following on my YouTube channel, what they like and what they'd like to see more of. That would be really interesting for me to know. So, which would be good. So my following, yeah, it's tripled in a year. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I love it. Can't fault it a bit, you know. So obviously my videos have improved, if that's the case. The content must have improved, and I'm trying to do it more regularly. I know I haven't put online now since October, but again, work and then Christmas has just been completely manic for the last quarter of this year, just gone. So that's where we are. So where do we go in 2020? Well, I've noticed my Instagram is creeping back into the odd barbecue shot and family shots. I must stop that. I've got to be dedicated to photography or the motorsport side of things and all that. I must concentrate hard on doing that, I must admit. For the YouTube side of things, again, I want to push this forward now. I talked about the drone. I want to do a lot more drone photography in my vlogs. Now, when I'm in the UK, that's not so bad. It's quite unrestricted in the UK, as long as it's accessible. In the UAE, it is extremely restricted to the use of where you can and can't fly drones. Now, I'm registered, that's not an issue with the Civil Aviation Authority, but they do have a lot of no-fly zones because of privacy laws and the likes here. So, but, you know, you can get around it. There are ways to do it. So, one thing that people have asked me to do, I've been, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be doing this professionally in any way, shape or form, is people have said, you know, can I take them out and teach them, run a workshop? And it's like, well, do you know what, I do workshops with work. I don't want to be doing photography workshops really, but I'm more than happy to share the knowledge, you know. So I think this year I may do some sort of tag-along trips to the desert. It's like, you know, I'm going out, if you want to come with me, follow me through the Gats tracks out around White Sands, whatever, Dafra, and we'll do some photography on. So I may do that. I may sort of do a tag-along type trip now and again if people want to come with me. And people have also asked me, can I do more technical content within the vlogs? But the vlogs aren't really about the technical content side of things. I don't want to get too deeply into sort of talking about the sort of ISO numbers and your focal lengths and shutter speeds, etc. The vlogs are more telling the story, the journey of why we've gone out to take photos and what are we doing out there. You know, it's as the channel says, it's the unscripted Nomad. I don't script any of this. It's as I say it, comes into the camera, gets edited and put online. I don't deliberately go out with a plan. None of my vlogs have a plan of what I want to do. I don't go out thinking, right, I'm going to go out, I'm going to take this shot, I'm going to tell the viewers all my camera settings, explain them. It's just me sharing my hobby more than anything. So I don't know if I want to go down the road of putting a lot more technical content in. Gear reviews was another one. People asking me, can I talk about the various bits of kit I've got? Maybe I should talk about the kits I've got. Gear review, I'm not so sure about, you know. Again, I don't want to get into the technical side. I use the gear I use because I like it and it does what I want it to do. So maybe I should do a video on my gear, my particular gear, and why I'm using it, why I've got it, and how I've come to have it, you know. My path through from originally with sort of Pentax and a 35mm through the digital with Nikons and now into Fuji. Maybe I should go down those roads and why I changed. But apart from that, you know, I don't have massive plans. Anyway, there we go. As I said, that's 2019 gone. We're into 2020. I'm hoping I can have more time to do vlogs and photography this year. So let's hope for that. More vlogs, more regular vlogs. I need to push out more regular vlogs. I did try, my 5-minute Fridays seem to have sort of, I wouldn't say they've died a death, but they've slowed down since the summer. My normal vlogs have also slowed down because of work. So again, I need to get back into those. A tag-along tour. I think we'll try and see if I can get some enthusiasm, see if anyone wants to, you know, they keep saying, can you take us out? Yeah, I'll take you out willingly. Let's do a tag-along tour. Bring your vehicle, follow me through the gas tracks and stop and do a tag-along tour. So, you know. And a gear one. Yeah, gear. Let's talk about gear. Should we talk about gear? Maybe we should. Maybe I should. So, anyway, that's room for thought for 2020. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll catch you on a sand dune soon. Catch you later.